right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron here bringing you some honest astrology about the full moon that we're having in Aquarius at about 2:26 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun is at 27 degrees of Leo, which means the moon is directly opposite at 27 degrees of Aquarius. Okay, now the sun is home. Each planet has a ruling planet, meaning wanderer in the sky. The stars are fixed. The sun seems to appear geocentrically from Earth that it moves, right? So the sun in the sign of Leo right now, we consider it home in Leo. Now the moon, home in Cancer, is in its opposite to the sun right now in Aquarius. This is about the community, where Leo is about self. Now, this is extremely important when we talk about all of astrology. We have to really pay attention to the nodes. Where was the eclipse point? The eclipse point was in Aries, okay? So this new moon that we had 2 weeks ago, which I didn't talk about, we're going to talk about it for a moment here, was in the sign of Leo. So the moon and the sun, both in the sign of Leo. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and bring this back here for us. 2 weeks. Okay. And so right there, now this eclipse was right here at like 19 degrees. Okay, now it's been a couple of months. So 13 degrees, it's creating a bit of a trine to that ecliptic point in Aries. Okay, fire sign, that trine, that's an easy flow of energy. So with Leo, we're talking about ourselves. We're talking about your egos. Okay, this is you. You are the sun. You, in this analogy, in this metaphor, you're the sun, and we need you to shine bright. Okay, let the clouds cover, let the rain do its job. We need you to be bright, a bright shining star. We need you to add light into this world. With the sun and the moon together, that was here. Okay, this is our personalities, our egos, the sun shining out, and our emotions, our moons. This is saying we need confidence. Okay, confidence to what? The north node here in Aries of you, yourself. We need you to be confident individual in who you are. Whatever you're bringing to the table, we need you right and tight. We need you to be the confident individual that you are. We need the fruit to grow on the trees fully, to be the full fruit that it is, right? We can't eat the underdeveloped fruit that's not nutritious for us to give back to the world. So we have to love ourselves. That has been the message of this whole year. Every single one of these astrology videos is about loving ourselves. The north node here in Aries, it's about loving yourselves. Okay. Now this is really important, as Mercury and Venus were both in Virgo at the time of this new moon. Now, 2 weeks forward, Venus, of course, is still moving through Virgo. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But Mercury retrograde back into Leo. All right, so with Mercury at that point of the new moon, Mercury and Venus both in the sign of Virgo, this is about analytical decision making. Okay, crisp, sharp mind, defined ideas, defined concepts of what? Of who you are, of what you are, and where you're going in this ocean of chaos and order. All right, so who are you? What are you doing? It's important, as Mercury was in Virgo at that point in time, to understand that it's the observer in the world that observes and reports back on what it observes. Okay, there is no universe without mind entering into it first. So I am the observer in my own personal reality, right? You're the observer in your personal reality. You're the center of the universe. You're the sun. For me, I'm the sun. I'm the center of my universe. But there's obviously awareness that there's a lot of other people, that we're all manifesting one another, right? And we're all manifesting each other's greatest strengths and weaknesses. So when we have the observer, which defines the world around it, you could say, I could say, I'm Aaron Eschenburg, I'm an astrologer, right? I could say, I intended to share good things with the world. I want to inspire people to be the best versions of themselves. But I'm not the observer to myself. Everyone else in the world is the observer to me. right? I don't observe myself unless I'm sitting there looking in the mirror or something like, and I don't make these videos to just hear myself talk. So it's like, it's up to the observer to determine and interpret if the message is good, if I'm, it's like someone's going to think I'm handsome, somebody else is going to think I'm unattractive. That's not up to me to decide. I just simply am. Someone's going to think a nectarine is delicious, someone's going to think a nectarine is terrible. Someone's going to love grapefruit, someone's going to hate grapefruit. Okay? And you say grapefruit. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings about it? I don't like it. Okay? So that's up to the observer to decide this stuff. The observer decides. Now, when we're talking about self, it's really important because, again, the observer decides. Is that person attractive? Are they unattractive? Are they nice? Are they not nice? Would you sleep with them? Would you not? Do you want to have an intimate relationship with them? Do you not? Would you subscribe to their channel? Would you not? Would you follow them? Would you listen to the things that they have to say? Do you like their style? It's always the observer that gets to determine the observation. And in here, we're in a very unique and interesting time where we're trying to decide how somebody else observes me and how they label me, when it really doesn't matter how somebody else chooses to label me. It does not matter. And this is extremely important in this new moon to full moon of Leo and Aquarius, and the north node in Aries, the south node in Libra. Okay, because the sun, center of self in Leo. This is about having a positive ego, having a healthy sense of self. The North Node in Aries, having a healthy sense of self, appreciating yourself, loving yourself. And when we love ourselves, it does not matter what the outside world says about us. Okay, let's take Muhammad Ali as an example here. When you have an individual like that that's saying, I'm the best there ever was, I'm too pretty, I've never lost a fight in my life, I'm too pretty to whatever. He very, very big ego, okay? But that's exactly what the world needed. That's exactly who he needed to be, and it's exactly what he needed to bring into the table, into the ring with himself, okay? And if Muhammad Ali said, I'm okay, I'm mediocre, I'm all right, he would have been okay, he would have been mediocre, and he would have been all right. But he said, I'm the best. I'm the best. Every thought is a frequency. Every thought is a frequency, and those frequencies resonate through every cell in our body. Peter Pan, simple metaphor. Think happy thoughts and you fly. You think sad thoughts and you brings you down to earth, whatever, right? So we want to think happy thoughts. We want to be positive in ourselves. Now, me, when I was a young man, when I saw Muhammad Ali for the first time, I thought he was really cocky. I didn't appreciate, in a sense, his sense of self. I didn't appreciate his ego, his attitude of self, of how overly confident, or just exactly confident as he needed to be, was. I also didn't understand a lot of the world at that point in time. So the observer, me at this point in time, said, I don't like this big inflated ego of this individual. Okay, but again, it's exactly what was needed at the time. And it's exactly what's needed in a sense right now for ourselves. Like, we have to be so loving of ourselves, so appreciative of ourselves, so confident in ourselves. Now, we might not know, he knew he was a boxer. We might not know what we're still doing in certain elements of our life. We might still be figuring out career moves. We might still be figuring out who is going to be, a partner, a long-term partner for us. We might still be figuring out a daily routine. We might still be figuring out a lot of elements of ourselves. That doesn't mean we can't love ourselves in the meantime. And it's extremely important, again, if the outside world says, Aaron, you're a crap astrologer, or you're not a good whatever it is, it really doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter how somebody else labels me. Okay, this is why I'm talking about this. Was Mercury in Virgo, okay, which Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. In Gemini, this is AM radio, kind of. And here is this satellite radio. You get all the noise, all the static. You're getting the left and the right. You're getting, not politically, but I'm saying you get all of the noise. You get the static. You get a little bit of bleed from this channel to the next channel. Over here in digital radio, it's a very precise, laser-focused beam. You're never going to hear bleed from another thing, another radio station or something like that. So it's extremely focused. Here you can say, oh, okay, what are those? Those are trees. Well, are those trees, is it a forest? Is it a jungle? They're just trees. Over here it says, no, that's the Amazon rainforest. It's a very specific thing, and it's not just a forest, that's a Bobensana tree or whatever, very, very specific. So in Mercury retrograde this year, in this time of us loving ourselves, appreciating who we are. South Node says letting go of other people's perceptions of you, letting go of how the world views you. Mercury says, I'm going to label. It's going to happen. You're not going to get away from it. You're not going to get away from being called an asshole. You're not going to get away from, being called a bad name, or you're not going to get away from being called a positive name. It's just simply what it is. And it doesn't mean that it has to stick with you. It doesn't mean that it has to, it's like, oh, somebody called me an asshole once, so now that, I'm going to take that information in. And it's like, well, why do they call me that? Maybe they didn't like what I had to say. That's okay. They don't have to. Did it mean I shouldn't have said it? No. I have to be me, right? You could call Muhammad Ali, a terrible person or cocky person or something like that. Did it matter? No. He had to be himself. So this is the journey of the Mercury retrograde going on right now from Virgo back into Leo. It's like, look, we got to be ourselves. We have to confidently speak up what we need to speak up about. Now we have Jupiter, which is saying more communication, more information, and Mars, specifically last week, conjunct Jupiter, was like, we have to say what we need to say, and it doesn't matter if it's aggressive communication or if it's tough love communication. I personally had some conversations when it was Mars conjunct Jupiter that was very, almost things I wouldn't normally have said. But it's like, you know what? We have to communicate these stuff. And especially when individuals are just going to lie to themselves or throw pity parties, be sympathy bullies, which is happening a lot right now. There's a lot of sympathy bullies that are just pushing you to say, hey, I need your sympathy, and I need you to feel sorry for me, and all these things are wrong with me right now, and look at how terrible my life is, and won't you please give me your sympathy? And it's like a homeless person begging for change. I need your sympathy, please, please. And these are energy vampires. And the more that we're like, oh, they're there. Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry, my brother. I'm so sorry, my sister, for your life, that you have, that you're not being grateful for because you're different than everybody else. Everybody's different. And comparison is the true robbing of joy in life. And this is saying, the astrology is screaming, like, be so proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself for your accomplishments. Be proud of yourself for who you are. Be proud of yourself for the conversations you've had that are difficult. Be proud of yourself for showing up for yourself, for showing up for your community, for showing up for your family, for doing the hard work that you do. This is saying, be grateful for how you dress, how you do your hair, the colors of clothes that you want to wear, the color of your bedroom. Why do you have those particular sheets? This is all part of ego, and we cannot separate our ego, just like we cannot separate ourselves from our heart. So when we talk about these concepts of ego death, what it is understanding that this concept of myself that the world wants me to be, I'm simply not. And I never will be. And I'm going to disappoint people. By just being myself, I'm going to disappoint people, right? I'm a white dude that lives in Metro Detroit, and I've been serving ayahuasca medicine for 5 years. I'm a shaman that, talks about astrology. And some people are so grateful for that. Like, some people are so happy that they have the opportunity to work with this medicine here in North America, that they might not be able to afford that $2,000 plane ticket to Peru. They're very grateful, just like a yoga teacher that's gone to India or something, learned it and brought it back here to America. Same, I work down in Peru and bring this knowledge back up here. So some people are just simply mad at me that I do this and think that I shouldn't do it at all. So my existence alone is a negative, right? But other people view it as a positive. What does it matter? I have to keep doing me, and I have to ignore those individuals. I'm not trying to talk about myself in this. The point is, I'm gonna disappoint people, and I'm just trying to relate to you. Like, you're gonna disappoint people. There's gonna be people that are mad at you for doing you. There's gonna be, people will peg at you every way that they can on your trying to succeed. Are you trying to do your things? Or like, hey, I'm trying to pivot here. I'm not trying to do the same thing as everybody else. Or all of my friends are caught up into this social drinking or this party lifestyle and bar stars or whatever it is. And you're like, hey, I need to separate from this. This is no longer for me, right? Maybe Mercury retrograde, we're rethinking how we're spending our time and energy and saying, this isn't really for me anymore. And now people are going to judge you. What do you think? You're better than me? It's like, no, this isn't about you. This is not about you. This is about me. This is about me and my journey here on planet Earth. And this might be the only journey I'll ever have on planet Earth. I don't know. I have no idea. But in this journey on planet Earth, I have to do what I desire. I have to do what makes sense for me. And you have to do what makes sense for you. And now, with this full moon, it's like, again, Muhammad Ali, this is exactly what the world needed. And some people emotionally in the community, Aquarius community, are not going to be pleased. And some people wanted to see him get beat up so bad. People love to just punch you down on your way up to the top. But it doesn't matter. You have to have a healthy sense of ego, and you have to be able to reflect that in a healthy manner into the world. The world wants you strong. The world does not need you to be weak. The world does not need you to be meek. The world wants you to fully illuminate your, this. So this is like you're cultivating your skills. You're sharpening your mind. You're sharpening the way that you communicate. You're appreciating who you are. You're very focused on what you love, what your desires are. You like this, not that. And this is how I want to give back to the world. By being really good at this one thing or these few things, right? This is about acts of service. So it's like the more confident you are, the better you can give back to people. The more confident you are, the more light you're shining and you're illuminating in your community. And when you illuminate in your community, what's going on here is about transformation. You can transform and change people's lives, transmutate energy. Whereas like, hey, some negative trauma, bad things happened in life. But by you being you, by you overcoming these things, by you having a healthy mindset and being able to communicate about it with confidence, by you being able to relate emotionally to other people in the community, you're allowing them this opportunity to change their lives, transform their lives, right? It's those yoga teachers that went over there and brought yoga back here that are allowing people to change their lives because they didn't, they're confidently bringing this skill out and forward and saying, wow, thank you. And it's, let's be honest, it's not in this cultural appropriation concept, right? People are mad at you or you're not from India. What business do you have teaching this? It's like, well, it's a passion of yours. There's a passion. This little blonde-haired white chick or whatever it may be. It's teaching a yoga class because they went and did the work. And because they love it so much and they want to bring it back here and share it with other people. And people's lives will change because you love what you love to do. And if we listen only to the haters, and if we say, oh, Megan, or whoever it is, you shouldn't be teaching yoga because you're the wrong skin tone. You're not born in that. What business do you have doing that? Say, do you like pizza? Do you have to be Italian to eat pizza? Do you have to be Mexican to enjoy a burrito or nachos? We're like teaching ourselves so inappropriately right now, and we're getting mad at people for the wrong things, but whatever, let them. It doesn't matter. Enjoy making your pizzas, enjoy eating your pizzas, enjoy making your burritos, enjoy whatever it is. It's like, that's part of the beauty of the world, right? Is to share all of these wonderful things with each other. Is the part of beauty of you. Is like, get out of the house, share your talents with the world, share what you love with the world. Share what you love with the community, whatever it may be. People are going to think your idea is dumb. Other people are going to think your idea is brilliant. Some people are going to hate you for it. Some people are going to absolutely love you for it. And it's up to you to decide what to take and leave. Ultimately, it's up to you to decide what to take and leave. But with Mercury retrograde out of Virgo back into Leo is saying, I have to be confident in myself, right? I talk about astrotheology on here. You know how many people I make angry about talking about astrotheology in some of these like groups or just in general? Like Christians will tell me like, oh, I'll pray for you. It's like, I don't need your prayers, man. I don't need your prayers. They don't do anything for me. I don't need you to tell me that my concept or views of God or Jesus being a personification of the sun is wrong. It doesn't matter to me. You can't tell me that a Matchbox car is a real race car. You know, it's like you can't, you're not going to be able to convince me otherwise. Now, I'm not going to be angry with somebody about it. I'm just going to simply sit in my knowing, sit in my truth, sit in my power, the sun. Okay? And with those individuals, I'm not going to try to change Christians' minds. I'm not going to try to change atheists' minds. It's irrelevant, those conversations, right? But to be able to talk about it confidently, those individuals that need the information or want the information are going to gravitate toward it. Now, this is something else I've talked about on the channel before with this. Let's come back here for a moment. With making up our minds, okay? In this energy here, we have to make up our minds a little bit. One, in the sense of who we are, where we're going. We have to make decisions. We have to make very real decisions about ourselves confidently. If we're going to open a door and walk through it, if we're going to go left down the path, we're going to go right down the path, we have to own our decisions. Not a single other person can we blame. The South Node is making this very relevant right now. And with confident, Sun and Mercury in Leo, the North Node, Chiron, Eris has been there forever, but, this is like healing of self, healing of your perception of self, is making those confident decisions. Even if you think later on it was the wrong decision, I shouldn't have done that. Well, that's okay. You've learned something. You learn what you don't want to do again. But you have to say, yes, I'm willing to take this step. I want to learn about this thing, or I want to teach this thing. I want to teach this, and I don't care if certain people in the community, I don't care if certain other individuals don't like what I'm teaching. It doesn't matter. And you see this little semi-square right there, right? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Do it because you love doing it. And the more that people are just confidently doing what they love to do, we change the world, friends. We change the world. And as you see here, this septile, there's a septile and a quincunx going over here to Mercury and the sun. Now that septile is fate and destined energy through communication, through self. The sun was really there yesterday making that septile. Now the sun's creating this in conjunction, the green line right behind it to Pluto. What this means again is the more confident you are in yourself, the more confident you are in your decision-making skills about yourself. Like, yes, this is what I want to learn. This is what I want to do. This is the direction I want to go in with self. And it doesn't matter what other people are doing. It doesn't matter what the popular thing is. This is about you and your journey, you and yourself. And the more that you and yourself are doing the individual things that you love to do, the more you allow transformation in the community. Now, this is so important because Pluto is going to be there for 20 years in Aquarius, something like that. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but it's something like that. It's a long time. So we have a lot of change within our community that is necessary. And we have to have the communication. We have to be able to look at both sides of the coin. This is extremely important, especially considering it's political season right now. We have to look at both sides of the coin. We have to be able to look at the information on the left, the right, and notice that the left and the right is both the side of the same coin, or both the same coin, two different sides of the same coin. And of course, we have 1726 Jupiter, 1728 Saturn retrograde, which means they're creating a nice little square to each other. Okay, well, where do we expand and where are we limited? Limited in our sense of spirituality, limited in our sense of growth of, let me see how I want to say this. What is right, what is wrong is very subjective. Okay, what is right, what is wrong is extremely subjective. It's up to the individual to determine what is right or what is wrong. That can get a little hairy, and I understand that, but it's extremely important for us. Sorry, somebody just walked in my door and there's a lot of noise going on upstairs. Slightly distracting. I'll be right up. Sorry, friends. Saturn in Pisces. Okay, this is extremely important. One, this is ruling the media. The media is controlling. The media is an authoritarian. The media wants to confuse you, okay? Pisces can be the delusion, not only spirituality, but the absolute delusion of media. Jupiter saying more, and Mars saying, I need myself to determine what is and what is not, okay? So we have... the media can spin the exact same story two different ways. If you follow me on social media, I posted a picture. I'll talk about this. I don't mind talking about it. That's the thing. It's not about politics. This isn't about Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. This is about how the media spins different things about, like the tax. They're both trying to get rid of government taxing of tips. Government employee of tips. And the way that the media, CNN, I believe, spun the exact same, like Trump's trying to do one thing and Kamala Harris is trying to do the same exact thing. But the way that the media made it look like Trump was very negative. It was like, well, what Trump's doing is going to cost us a ton of money over time. And then the way that the exact same thing, they're like, oh, well, like what Kamala Harris is doing is really positive. Okay, so it's like the media wants to impregnate your mind. They're going to implant a seed of this is bad and this is good, when the truth is they were both the exact same thing. They were both accomplishing and going after the exact same thing. But the media is run and ruled by a particular party. So of course they create negative ad campaigns in order to manipulate your mind. And it's up to us right now to be confident in our decision-making skills, go our own way, not listen to anybody else, and determine what truth is for ourselves. And then if that means getting our hands a little dirty by digging deeper into information and communication, this is extremely important right now. And especially with this square to Saturn. It's like, are you going to allow, will you allow somebody else to rule your life? The astrology is saying no. The astrology is saying absolutely not. Am I going to allow this thing to manipulate me? Am I going to allow the news to manipulate me, the TV to manipulate me, the radio to manipulate me? Am I going to be able to do the research myself and make those confident decisions myself? I hope so. Because all the astrology is saying yes, and this is pivotal. Aside from this, I just want to say a note that was my hands. That we look at this, friends. Something is keeping all of this spinning. Something is keeping all of this in order. And this information of astrology has been passed over for 6,000 years at least from the Babylonians, okay? And into me, and into you, and into all of us. And we're just all star seeds, recycled stardust that's sharing information. And there is grand order happening here. And we might not be able to see the order to the chaos. And what might look like chaos to us in our human perception might be some grand design order that is so beyond our limited perception. And to trust the universe, and to trust yourself, and to trust your journey with the outside world, trusting who you are, confidently, the individual that you are, and going out into the community, going out and sharing yourself, sharing your emotions, sharing what can change lives, allowing yourself to be yourself. Because nobody else can do it. Nobody else can fill your shoes. Nobody else could have been Muhammad Ali except Muhammad Ali. So Muhammad Ali needed to be the best version of himself that he was. You need to be the best version of yourself that you are. It doesn't matter what other people call you. It doesn't matter what they perceive you as. It's about your relationship with yourself and trusting yourself and trusting the decisions that you're going to be making. And if other people are going to be sharing information with you, you have to be able to determine what is truth, what is real, and then follow your own heart's desires to make the proper decisions and saying, okay, I'm not going to go for this, I'm going to go for this. I'm not going to vote for this, I'm going to vote for this. I'm voting with my dollar bills. Of course, Venus is money. Venus is money where Uranus is. How do we vote? We vote for everything that we spend our money on. Every dollar that we put a purchase towards is how we vote. Okay, so how are we voting? Now, again, I'm not trying to talk about politics necessarily so much, but it's all kind of politics, right? Yeah, so it's like, be yourselves. The long story short, be yourself, love yourself. Allow yourself to be yourself and change the world, man, woman. And look at this, too. We got this beautiful little sextile happening still between Pluto and Neptune at the 29th degree and Anurakta degree. We can create serious change in the world. serious change in the world through trust, faith, spirituality, sharing our spirituality with community. A lot of positivity. The North Node as well here, creating that septile down to Uranus. Chiron creating the septile over here to Mars and Jupiter. Okay, healing yourself through what? Through information. And that information is what? It's both sides of the coin. Gemini here is both sides of the coin. By looking and observing both sides of the coin, we bring healing into our individual selves. And the more healing that we bring to ourselves, the more confident we are leading our lives and bringing it back here to other people and connecting with other people who have similar interests in this world, and we can resonate and build each other up and lift each other up. Friends, it's a beautiful full moon. I hope you enjoy it. I know I will. I'm loving all this beautiful energy that's going on. I love you. Wish you enough, and we'll see you next time.